you got frustrated and fed up with tie wraps cutting through engine mounts and so on. So you designed your own tie wrap with rubber lining. And it's called a GripLock tie.
Yep.
And now they're also for sale all over the country and the world. How many countries are you in now? Like 100?
Just with today's last shipment to the Czech Republic for a bigger order, that should be, we're in Asia, we're in Europe, we're in the European Union and Canada.
Yeah.
Guys carrying in Canada, there's guys in Mexico and Colombia and Brazil and New Zealand. So we're growing. We're growing. I mean, we're still small, but we grew a bunch last year. We were really kicking butt this year till the Corona thing kind of hurt us. But last week was an awesome week, and we're just continuing to grow. So people need to eventually learn how regular zip ties are old technology. It's a 60-year-old design. So GripLock Ties is like an 8L clamp / zip tie, bringing the best together. It's convenient. It's light. It's strong. It's rubber lined. It's padded. It protects wires. It slices. It dices. It removes. It's removable. So GripLock Ties. It's also more money than regular zip ties because the quality is so much better. Because we use the best materials DuPont. And if you want a half price, just use it twice.
Why don't we get into that a little bit? Man, that's the best slogan ever. That's what I've been doing too. So just to show everybody these things kind of up close, Creighton's got one too. I don't know if my camera does very well here. It looks like a standard tie wrap from the back, except it says GripLock Ties all over it. But when you flip it over, it's got this red or blue or orange liner of rubber. So the problem is we use these things as standard tie wrap all over airplanes, zip ties everywhere. They hold wires together. They hold hoses together. They're used everywhere. But the problem is over time they chafe, and they'll even chafe through steel tubing. So it can cause a whole bunch of problems, structural failures, shorted wires, leaky hoses, ruptured tubing, broken brake lines. What did I miss?
Crashing and burning and dying because you want to save 20 cents on a zip tie.
Yeah. And then they get old and they crack fast. So this one here now. So what? Tell us a story a little bit about where these came from. Like, when did it start, first of all?
So when it really comes down to, I was working on my race airplane last lap player, and I was playing around with cooling and trying to fix that. And so I installed a 4-channel CHT, and I was running wires along the engine mount, and I was using orange tape around the engine mount and orange zip ties so it all kind of match.
Yeah, his plane's orange and blue.
Yeah, and so I ran out of orange tape, so I went over to Lowe's, and I said, hey, I need some orange tape. And they're like, boy, we don't sell orange tape here. That's the other place. And we just sell blue tape. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Some old dude, he's trying to be funny. But they were out of orange tape, so I thought, well, just give me the rubber line zip ties. Because I was using orange tape to pad the engine mount so the zip ties wouldn't ruin the engine mount. So, so I said, well, just wear the rubber line zip ties. I said, well, they're rubber line zip ties. I went over there. They didn't have any rubber line cushioned zip ties. So I thought that's strange. So I called him over, and he looked on his little app on his phone, and he couldn't find them. And I looked on Amazon. I looked on Granger, and I looked on all kinds of electrical wholesale supply stuff, and nobody had any. I thought, well, that's weird. So I went out to the airport, and I used black tape and regular zip ties and put it all together. And a couple of days later, I was thinking about it and came up with the idea. And I was involved in auto racing at the time. I talked to a couple of buddies and looked at race cars. And I was at Oshkosh a few months later. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. My buddy Mike Patey and his wife Susie were there, and I'd known him for years. And I said, well, I got this idea. And he's like, well, what do you got? And so I said, well, you take a zip tie, put a rubber lining around it, doesn't move, and it doesn't scratch the paint. He goes, that's brilliant. I want in. How much can I own? So that's how I became partners with Mark and Mike Patey. And they had a product development company at the time, but And so we started developing GripLock ties. So
what year was that?
That was about 5 years ago. So
13-ish, 14, 15?
15, 16. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the process behind that? So then what did you do? Like you drew one up in SolidWorks or something, or?
No, I drew it up on a piece of paper. That's how I work. I have paper drawings of stuff. So
right.
I draw it on paper, and then we went and had a meeting when we got back from Oshkosh, and everyone there and their engineers. They had like 20 engineers on staff, and so I worked with a guy, and I drew it up, and they started working on it. We had a few distractions here and there, and they sold the company, and we separated it out and different stuff. So it took a while before we got back to it.
Yeah.
And,
so this is patented too, right?
Yeah, we have patents in Canada and the U.S. and South Korea and China and the European Union and Japan and Australia and South Africa, which is really under the U.K. So, but all over. So we've got tons of patents.
So you took it, you drew it out nicely. Then what? So this is kind of good for the aspiring entrepreneurs out there. So how do you take a product from a drawing to a prototype?
So what I do is I have on my phone, I have a file in here, and I write down, and it's titled "Cool Stuff to Patent," right? And when I have an idea, I write it down in there, right? And I draw a picture, and here's one that I drew, but you can't see it because it's not yet. So most of the time when you come up with a great idea, I have a business degree with an emphasis in marketing, and so, product development, and we study that in school, and kind of a home taught engineer. I love reading engineering books, but a lot of times when you have a cool idea, somebody else already had it first. So
right. So
I encourage everyone. People ask me this question every time, like, how do you bring a product to market? Well, you're going to have like ideas, but 99% of them were already somebody else's idea, or they weren't good ideas in the first place. Because maybe somebody already made it and it's a commercial failure because only 5 people want it. And
yeah,
maybe you can create a market with 5 people, but most times somebody's already done it. So I do this all the time. When I have a good idea, I write it down on my phone, and then instead of going on Facebook, you try to go through that. And usually you can find the product on Amazon, or you can find it, if it's more specific to engineering or aviation, you can find it somewhere else. And a lot of times you may see that product and you can make an improvement to it. But I've had a lot of great ideas, but GripLock Ties is the only one that's really worth investing lots of money into. So, because my best idea was marrying my wife, but you guys can't have her.
Oh, so. Speak of the devil back there.
Yeah, there she is. Yeah. Yeah.
That was good timing.
Yeah, she's wearing a Cassett shirt, by the way. So pretty cool. So she's making T-shirts up here. This GripLock Ties World Domination headquarters is actually my wife's craft loft, but don't tell me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're in your loft at your house?
So I built a building in the backyard to build airplanes, and above it is this room. So it's about 800 square feet. Yeah. So I think what I want to do is, for all your listeners, is offer them a deal with GripLock Ties. So if they go on to GripLockTies.com and they place an order and use the code DEADSTICK, they get free shipping. Except to Canada. It's too expensive. I'm sorry, Canadians. It's too expensive. But we are available on Amazon.ca. But
no, that's great.
Yeah, most of our listeners are in the States anyways, so.
Yeah. So GripLockTies.com, use the code DEADSTICK. Bam. Free shipping.
You'll get a whole bunch of these. Yeah. And they're really, really, really nice. They're all through all of my airplanes.
And if you want half price, use it twice.
I love them. You guys use them in airplanes. I use them in data centers. They're great. They're so much better than the stupid Velcro pieces of crap. And those They just work so much better.
Move.
Yep.
Oh.